Okay, we just finished December of Pandemic Legacy. What did you guys think of this game? It's up for a Kennerspiel du Jour this year, which is the connoisseur's game of the year in Germany. It's like a sister award to the Spiel du Jour, which is considered the award of the year. This one's up for the Kennerspiel.
Well, I already like Pandemic as one of probably the best cooperative games.
Yeah.
That I've ever played. There's other than the one expansion, there's no PvP in it all. It's all teamwork, and so it's a game that even if somebody that doesn't understand it so well, you know, if it wasn't like the four of us playing where we all have input, I mean, you could coach, like I can bring my kid and I can play with my kid, and you know, I can kind of coach him on the moves that he should be doing, and it's a good teaching game.
Yep.
But I feel that this added depth to the game and a story and a plot standpoint, and it gave you some continuance to the game. However, I feel that the overall mechanics of the game were dumbed down a little bit. I mean, they added a lot of interesting rules throughout it, but I don't think any of it particularly made the game more difficult. I feel if we played through this again, that it would probably be the unexpectedness of the changing of rules was the only thing that gave us difficulty.
Yeah.
Playing it again through, now that we know what it is, there's not a lot of replayability.
You know how hard it would be if it got harder? I mean, because you already know Pandemic itself is so easy just to lose on a flip of a coin because everything outbreaks. If this got harder and you had to do 12 months of it, that would be tough.
The only thing I can think of that we could do to this if we ever got a hold of another copy to make it really difficult would to be throwing an extra epidemic from one of our other games.
go to 6 instead of 5.
And then
you know, they did have
extra spot.
An extra spot, but they never had it.
It's there. That's just
well, I know that, but
yeah.
I think we discussed that at the beginning of the game. Is while that's probably for if another one shows up at some point.
It's to keep you guessing as to whether there's another one that shows up. I think is the main reason it's still on
Could
there.
be.
Since every other Pandemic board has that there.
Or it's hard mode. We never got to open box 8.
I think that
it's okay because that subtracts points from us.
That's true, but we don't know what's in it, and I'm really tempted. Did somebody say not to open box 8 if you don't open it?
Yeah, I told you that. I read something about it on some forum posted. We did something
but what could it ruin?
Just to see what it was.
Are we ever going to play this again?
Well, but this is the way the map is supposed to stay if you play it again or something.
We can do it later on our own if you want.
Yeah, look it up later. I don't care.
But I mean, just think about it.
But a lot of this game, I mean, there's so many rules eventually that, I mean, we end up with 3 cards worth of actions. To try to remember them all and remember all of the bonuses and all the things we could do. And like we did never use the pluripotent stem cell that lets you have one less card to cure, and we never thought of it on all those games that we barely pulled it out. We could have used that, and
we also never threw out a nuke. Could have been a lot of fun. Never got to.
We'll get a copy of Risk Legacy, and you can throw the nuke whenever you feel like it.
But there's a lot of stuff in here too. Oh, you can't do this, so. But then they give you equipment to be able to overcome what they. I mean, okay, here's now here's faded, and then here's equipment to deal with the faded, or here's a character to deal with the faded, you know, and you can't deal with the faded anymore. Now you have to use immunize them, and then they give you the character to deal with it. I mean, so it kept transitioning.
It was never boring. It was never just Pandemic. The story was good. Having the twists, you know, you've been working for the bad guys. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. It did hold your hand a little bit. It kept you from ever falling too far behind. I can't imagine what it would have been like if we let all these cities fall, though. It would have been insane and hard to catch back up. With the scoring, it was a little frustrating that we missed like the second tier by 11 points and there was one
because
thing
we didn't
could have
get
done
one
to get
search.
80. We could have gotten, well, no,
Well,
even without that.
even to
Not
we could have gotten 80 points for that.
destroy this,
That
we would have got
one
bonus, but we didn't
Yeah.
really know that we
Yeah.
needed to, so we
But
didn't.
also to be knocked down for 200 points for not doing one objective.
One search, yep.
Because it
And
was
not,
over by
and
the
not
next
giving
month.
you a
It was-
choice on
yeah.
the next month.
Yeah, we didn't get to
Because
pull it
all
off
the
next
previous
month.
ones, they were back
pulled off,
for the
yeah.
next month.
Yeah, that
if,
was
if you didn't
1 month
succeed.
to pull off that one, because it brought out
Well,
Team
you
Bravo
could have
whether
done
or
it
not you did
twice
it.
if you lost the game.
True, but then
So we
you're
could have got a
even
higher
four
score
pulls
if we
back.
would have lost the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I mean theoretically, if
Because you were getting, how many points were we getting if we won the first one? 20 points?
20
Or
points,
something,
yeah.
and 10 points
So
if
it's
you won the
180
second
point
game?
difference. Yeah.
So we could have
Yeah.
lost every
could have
single
lost.
first game.
I thought it was 40 and 20.
Four, okay, so whatever
yeah.
it was. I mean, it was
We could have
minuscule
lost
compared to
2
the
or 3
200.
games
If we
and
would have
gotten that
lost,
200
if we would have
points.
lost the game,
Yeah.
but then on the second game done the search.
That one was worth 10 first game finishes, basically.
Yeah.
Instead of second
And
game.
we had 11.
So we could have lost 9
Almost
more.
every
We
Yeah,
could have
that seems
lost
a little
9 more
excessive.
first games, and just completed that and still been.
And still gotten over 800.
Yeah.
So throw out your opinion there, Bronson.
I really enjoy the game, but I love Pandemic. My only issue is that my love of Pandemic comes from the fact that you have an equal chance of losing or winning in a game. You can, as you progress in your knowledge of how the game works, you can add more and more difficulty to the game. There's expansions you can throw in.
Right.
You can throw different twists. This one, to me, it just seemed, there were a few games that we clung by the skin of our teeth, but we were never in that position of we lost on the second turn.
Oh, yeah, we never.
There are so many situations in Pandemic that I love. You can play a 10-minute game and just you're loving every minute of losing. And to me, this game, it added the plot twists and it added the awesome story and some new mechanics.
Zombies.
It just didn't have that same feel to me of like.
Well,
this,
for one thing,
skinning your teeth.
For one thing, we immediately only had 3 to cure instead of 4.
Yeah.
So that allowed us to narrow down our focus a little bit, right? Even from the beginning.
And some of the, I don't know, I wish we would have had more unique people that didn't come from other Pandemic. Like to me, I realized that yes, the Coda
Different
was a whole
heroes,
new thing, but to me, I wish I would have seen more, or at least variations maybe on some of this.
We ended up with a bunch of different ones, but we lost one hero the whole time, right?
Yeah. Well, that was because it was taken away from us, right?
Yeah.
That's just the game takes
Yeah,
out
it was
your
the game taken away as the traitor.
But we tended to like to stick with the same ones instead of, except for the ones we were forced into, like the immunologist. We
I
were
think we're
kind
in
of
a second
forced
one.
into.
Well, the quarantine specialist
And the
was
quarantines,
hands down,
yeah.
Like, I mean, the
That
dispatcher
was nice.
is in any Pandemic game, the dispatcher is perfect because so much of the game is spent moving around the board. And I mean, out of the last half, we had Bob the Builder and dispatcher in almost every single game.
And medic.
Yeah, well, I was
And
like
quarantine
the Bob the Builder
specialists.
and the dispatcher just to get movement.
Yeah.
Because that's such a huge part of the game.
Right.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's one that it's like he said, it's not something I'm gonna want to sit down and play again.
Well, I mean, this is kind of it's a campaign game.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you sit down and you don't just sit down and just, let's sit down and play a campaign game. Let's play.
And I think the thing that you like about a one-off Pandemic would never have worked in this.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because after the first or second game, the board would have been destroyed.
And game
Like,
over.
yeah.
Or you're not going to have any fun for the rest of the time.
Whole bunch of 4s sitting around here, 5s.
I'll tell you what, I did feel like it was, will we actually pull this off every game? I never walked into any month thinking, hey, we're going to do
This is
this
easy.
just like
This is
every other
easy.
month. Just
Yeah,
like every other month, we'll be able to pull this off.
You always
I kept
had to
waiting for the hammer to
keep-
drop and we're going to be screwed
You
for
had
the
to
rest
keep
of the
adjusting
game.
your strategy, and
Yeah.
we had to. I mean, there were several videos, several months that we had a 20-minute or 30-minute discussion before we picked our characters to determine who we wanted.
But then
Because
they follow the
there's this
20-minute
one, or this one, or this one. This one's positive here. This one's positive there, and so I mean, we never felt like, let's just get the same ones. We're gonna tear it up this time. No, it's easy.
It is a game that makes you think. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there were a lot of times where we actually spent more time in discussion than
Oh,
actual
yeah.
play.
Oh yeah.
How do we do this? Especially when we got low on cards during the game. Okay, how do we pull this off? How do we pull this off? So, scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the best.
I'd give it a 9.
9?
Yeah.
7 or 8.
Probably 7.
7?
It's a great game,
Yeah.
but it's
8.
not. It would not be one that even going into it, even if they put a second season out, it would not be one that would be. I've got to play this.
I've heard they're working on a second season.
It's definitely one I'm interested in the second season, but it's not one that I'll have to immediately as it comes out.
Rush
go
out
play it.
and grab it immediately.
Wait to grab it off the bargain bin
See-
or clearance sale.
No,
Oh.
I don't think it's quite.
Well, I don't
that
know.
bad.
For me, if I'm telling somebody that has never played it or even watched this, you know, you got some buddies that want to play, go get it. It's worth your time. It's better than going to a movie. It's better than, you know, just reading a book by yourself. And it's better than just popping out one game. If you can actually get together a group to do this.
How
The
about
same group
It's
over
an
and over.
experience.
The weakness
It's
would
an
be
experience.
if you have to swap people in.
Yep.
Because we discussed that at
Yeah.
the beginning of this. Well, what happens if somebody's missing? Do I get a substitute? And can you imagine a substitute, even if
trying
they
to
played
explain every
Pandemic,
single new rule?
Yeah.
to try to jump in July
Okay.
would have been a nightmare.
How about with my 7 rating, a caveat? Play Pandemic first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play even just the core game of Pandemic so you're familiar with the way it works.
Yeah.
Play the Pandemic first and then go out and get this. This is a definite must-play cooperative game. Play Pandemic first and then wait for Season 2.
I believe this is rated higher on Board Game Geek than Pandemic is.
I could not imagine playing this without playing
Well,
Pandemic
yeah,
first.
yeah.
You-
My guess
Just
is
jump right in there.
my
That might
guess
make it
is
a lot more
that
difficult.
my guess is that people that have played Pandemic a lot are a little bit more polarized in, well, how much am I going to keep playing Pandemic? And so the ones that have already played Pandemic a lot and they're tired of the basic Pandemic, when they played this, they were like, this made me love Pandemic again.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
Because you got 12 games and they were all exciting and interesting
Yes,
and new.
yes.
Whereas you like just the straight up challenge.
But I will say this: never did I feel like I was wasting time playing this. I enjoyed every single
Yeah.
game.
Did you enjoy coming each Thursday to
Yeah.
play?
Yes,
Yes.
And staying up
Look
super late
forward
and getting
to
up
it.
really early in the morning.
Yes, it was a definite enjoyable experience all the way through. Even when
So-
we were completely frustrated
Never
with the way
had-
the rules, the way the
there were-
twists ruined everything.
There were
for
no
us.
thumb screws used in July saying, come on you guys, let's come back. We got to finish. Nope.
So I mean, yeah, really. I mean, good all-around game. Wouldn't ever be my first pick, but like you said, you know, it's not a campaign game. It's never a game where we're just gonna sit down and be like, hey, you want to start a campaign game?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Do you want to get together and play D&D or something, or get together and play, you know, some big long role-playing game? You don't just do that. We're like, hey, let's get together and play for an hour. Do you guys want a campaign? Let's think about it. Do you have the next 3 months to spend 2 hours a week or whatever doing this, and putting off playing other games because we're playing this? Yeah.
but yeah, totally. I mean, like you said, I mean, this is a good. I mean, just like playing a round of D&D. I mean, that's kind of like the, you know, amount of time it takes
Right.
per week. You know, couple hours here or there, a few hours, couple of days. You know, we spent probably 4 or 5 hours, but you know, it's just that's kind of the slot it would occupy. But yeah,
Okay.
I mean, for any one game, we never really spent more than 2.5 hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
2.5.
Yeah.
But and those 2.5 hour ones, a lot of those were discussion.
Yeah. No, so you could get people into this game that really haven't played tons of games.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go and try and get somebody into D&D that's never played games, they're not going to. Yeah, this is still your gateway
Yeah, Pandemic is definitely a
game
gateway
to
board
other
game.
people.
Yeah. And I would always advocate for cooperative games above competitive games for getting anybody that's not one of us
right.
into any of this, like family, friends, like
Yeah.
these are the kind of games that I take with me, like when I go places. I don't ever take competitive games.
Yeah.
That's not the first impression you want to make with people. Like, let's play these really nice games, and you know, look, you can play.
Access and allies.
Well, even the campaign version of Risk, the Risk Legacy. You know, that would be different than this because you're trying to kill each other all the time.
Yeah, I would never take. I don't take Risk anywhere. That's one of those games like this where even a regular Risk, you gotta. All right, who wants to spend 5-6 hours? And I mean, those games are a lot longer than these are. I mean, Pandemic's at least is short. Like,
and this doesn't have the name recognition like Risk, Monopoly, anything like that. You bring out, people shy away from it because they know it's a long and can be a drawn-out game. This one is, oh hey, let's play a 30-minute game,
or an hour game, or you know. But I mean, this isn't going to last forever like Monopoly could, or
right.
You know.
Yeah, this one, the longer it lasts, if the game you eventually lose if you drag the game out.
Well, I mean, the only reason the game's going to last that long is if you're talking too much, because you got a limited stack.
Well, right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you draw the game out, you lose the game.
Yeah.
Even if you can keep from doing this, or whatever, you lose the game if you draw it out. Yeah. You have to complete it in a
timely manner.
Right.
Yeah.
So find 3 guys, pick a copy up, play it.
Yep. So, well, that's our take on Pandemic Legacy. Make sure you tune into all of our how to play videos, our gameplay videos, especially like this one. And we will be probably starting a new gameplay up sometime in the near future with and we haven't decided what that will be, but watch for it.
You mean
coming up.
There you go.
And subscribe to this channel, the YouTube channel, and like us on Facebook.